Take a look at what happened.
Secret Service agents rushed former President Donald Trump off stage after shots were fired, moments after he began speaking at a Saturday evening rally in Butler County, Pennsylvania. The Secret Service says a man attending the rally was killed. A doctor standing nearby tried to help him, performing CPR.
The guy had spun around and was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here.
Trump raised his fist as he left the stage. On his Truth Social site, the former president said he was shot by a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin, he wrote. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening.
I just hear these 4 shots and everybody screaming drop, and you can see the blood like splatter on his face, and the Secret Service just barricades him.
The Secret Service says the gunman was outside the cordoned-off area of the rally, standing on an elevated structure, and that he was shot and killed by a member of the agency's counter-assault team. A large number of Secret Service agents is in Milwaukee right now ahead of the convention. They're trying to piece together what happened here in Butler. President Biden spoke a couple hours after the shooting.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
This was Trump's last rally ahead of next week's Republican convention in Milwaukee. He was taken away in a motorcade and again held up his fist as he got into his SUV. Lauren Linder, CBS News, Butler County, Pennsylvania.
Now, the Secret Service says it's currently adding more manpower in the wake of the shooting. Plans are in the works to expand the security perimeter at the Republican National Convention, and the FBI is the lead agency handling the investigation. President Joe Biden also put this out earlier when he was first briefed about the shooting. He says, in part, I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all of those who were at the rally as we await further information. Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. And this statement is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. He says, in part, Kelly and I are praying for President Trump and all of the attendees of the campaign rally today in Pennsylvania, and we send our gratitude to the law enforcement who responded at the scene. This horrific act of political violence at the peaceful campaign rally has no place in this country and should be unanimously and forcefully condemned. And we're also hearing from former President Barack Obama. He says there is absolutely no place for political violence in our democracy. Although we don't know exactly what happened, we should all be relieved that the former President Trump wasn't seriously hurt, and we use this moment to recommit ourselves to civility and respect in politics. Michelle and I are wishing him a quick recovery. And House Majority Steve was also shot in 2017, practicing for the annual congressional baseball game. He said, for weeks, Democratic leaders have been fueling ludicrous hysteria that Donald Trump winning re-election would be the end of democracy in America. This rhetoric must stop. Elizabeth Hunter is live in the newsroom tonight. She takes a look at how local leaders are sharing their thoughts.
Leaders from across the nation sharing their thoughts on the assassination attempt, including some close to home. Starting off with South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, he says, praying for President Trump and everyone at the rally in Pennsylvania. May God watch over them all. We're also hearing from South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. He posted online, thank God President Trump seems to be okay. Just another reminder of the times in which we live. We need to pray fervently for anyone who may have been injured at the rally. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster says the risks and forces President Trump is willing to face to serve his country are unbounded. He is the face of America's strength today. Peggy and I join millions of others praying for his safety and security and that of his family and our country. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp also releasing a statement on social media saying, we are all praying for former President Trump, his family, and everyone at the Pennsylvania rally. Not only that, U.S. Senator Jon Ossoff shared his thoughts. He says, I joined all Georgians and Americans in condemning this despicable act of violence and pray former President Trump makes a full recovery. I thank the U.S. Secret Service and law enforcement for their swift response. Political violence is never acceptable and can never be tolerated.
having some technical difficulties. U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock shared his thoughts earlier tonight. He said, quote, "In America, we settle our political differences democratically, not violently. I'm deeply saddened by today's events in Pennsylvania. I condemn any violence aimed at former President Trump in the strongest terms and pray for him, his family, and our nation. We are better than this." Now, we talked with local leader Max Burns, who said he is disgusted by what happened. He hopes this shows the state and national leaders, as well as voters, what issues they need to focus on in November as November approaches.
All registered voters in Georgia have now going to have to deal with this as a challenge that we have to overcome. And I would say don't lose faith in the process. Don't abandon the ideals of democracy, but participate peacefully. It's okay to disagree. We can have legitimate differences, but we cannot resort to violence.
Again, former President Trump's campaign says he is safe and his son says he's doing fine. We'll let you know when we learn any new details from this.